I'm with Mike Turtur. Mike's the race director of the Tour Down Under. Mike, I just wanted to get you to comment on the quality of the field this year. It's probably one of the most consistently strong fields.
Yeah.
There are a few, big names, but it's more about throughout the entire field. You've got very strong riders. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I think when the list started to come in, it was pretty impressive when you got Oscar Freire and then Pataki and then Benati and then Greipel and so on and so on. So it was clear that the teams had obviously acknowledged the hilltop finish in Wollonga and also the extra lap around Stirling. And that being the case, I reckon for the first time that we've got a good balance between the all-rounders and sprinters. So and that was very pleasing to see. So as you say, across the board, they're pretty strong in just about every department. Every team's got a sprinter and an all-rounder that can do very well.
Do you feel like the race has, in a way, come of age after maybe a few years of sort of, it's been growing, but in a way, do you think this is like the first year where it's maybe...
Well, everyone said it was a big test because of the first post-Armstrong year.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at the Bupa Challenge Tour registrations, over 7,000, which is equal to last year, I think that we've done very well to maintain the number. We were expecting a bit of a drop-off because of the massive increase with Armstrong, but it looks like the numbers are holding up, and that's exactly what we wanted to achieve for this year's race.
In terms of Armstrong, are you happy with the years that Lance gave to the race and his involvement with the...
Yeah, it was a deal of a lifetime. There's all speculation about fees and everything else, but what was reported in the press was nowhere near what was the actual arrangement. But it was not only the race, but everything around and outside of the race with his work that he did here when visiting hospitals and being involved with other fundraising activities. So his presence benefited a lot of people, and of course the race. He brought people to the race that had thought about it and talked about it but never made the commitment to come. And those same people are coming back because they enjoyed the experience so much no matter who's racing. So that's what we wanted to achieve.
This year you've got Eddie Merckx in town, obviously one of the biggest cycling legends ever, and Christian Prudhomme is also coming down. Is that perhaps a new direction for the race in terms of, obviously Eddie's in line with bringing guys like Miguel Indurain, but in terms of someone like Christian Prudhomme...
Yeah, the Tour de France with the ASO, they're involved now with the television distribution for the race internationally, which is terrific because their network of contacts is pretty solid. So the product here will get massive coverage throughout the world, and with their association, that's going to be terrific. So, and I know that from a personal point of view, Christian Prudhomme wants to see the race because he's heard a lot about it. So it'd be good to have him here, and then Eddie, of course, the greatest of all time. I think the public will really enjoy his presence, and he's really keen to see the race, and he's heard a lot about it too. And he's out for a ride now and enjoying the sunshine, so hopefully he has a good time here.
There was talk that the bringing Christian was part of that ASO relationship you talked about was important to solidifying the races in South Australia until after 2015. Is that part of what you guys are doing, or?
No, I don't think there's any thought about a partnership or any ownership issues in regards to the race moving forward. We've got a 4-year deal with the UCI in terms of the World Tour. The race is owned by the South Australian government, and it's an event that they cherish very dearly. They developed it since '99 from nothing. It's a great tourism event for South Australia with the Clipsal 500 and horse trials and other festivals of art and so on that we have here. So collectively, all these events return to the state miles more than any one Grand Prix ever did, because when we lost the Grand Prix, everyone thought it was doom and gloom.
Yeah.
But collectively, the tour and all the other events have been a massive coup for South Australia.
In terms of your role with the UCI, you have to wear in a way 2 hats when you come to the Tour Down Under, because you're also a representative of the UCI for Oceania.
Yeah.
Does that ever, those 2 roles ever come into conflict at all?
Well, I don't think so, because my view on that is Pat McQuaid, prior to becoming president of the UCI, was doing the same job I was doing in Langkawi and in Great Britain to the Pro Tour. Having said that, I think I've got enough self-integrity to believe and truly believe that every decision I take and every decision I support is is in the interest of the sport, and that'll go on as long as I'm involved. I wouldn't make a decision based on a benefit to this race or any one group. My decision as Oceania president within the region is for the benefit of cycling.
Yeah.
And I'll strive to maintain that level.
I mean, in that sense, though, would you like to see more, Oceania races? At the moment, we've only got the New Zealand Cycle Classic and Jayco Herald Sun Tour.
It's a big challenge for us in the region, and we're trying to work together and address the issue. But if you look at the history of the sport in the last 20 years, and maybe even further, Oceania has struggled in terms of calendar races, but of course the quality here, we haven't got quantity, but we certainly have quality with the athletes in New Zealand and Australia that have performed so well. The calendar issue for the road is something we need to work on, and we need to get more events back on the UCI calendar and help develop other events. We've spoken to Cycling Australia and New Zealand about what we can do, and we're working at different possibilities there, but it is a big thing we need to look at. Yeah.
Mike Turtur, thanks very much for talking to us.
Okay.